Welcome to the Remojo stream, the very first Remojo Live. This is Coach Noah Church, for anyone who doesn't know. Thanks for being here with me today. I have, for the last 8 years now, worked with hundreds, maybe even thousands of men personally who are struggling with porn-related problems, sexual dysfunctions, addiction, compulsion, relationship issues, lack of motivation, all of these things that that happen slowly over the years as we're using porn chronically, but the changes can be startlingly quick when we quit. So as people are coming in, you may notice that you can only post to the live chat if you're a subscriber. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Remojo YouTube channel, so you can be alerted for future lives. And in the chat, let me know if you can hear me and see me all right. And let me know where in the world you're watching from. I'd love to see. And today we're going to get into a topic that all of us, could use more of: willpower. Willpower is something that I think we have a lot of misunderstandings about. And we always think if we had enough of it, then we'd have everything we wanted. We would have the discipline to go to the gym every day, have the body we want, eat the diet we want, live the life that we want. Welcome. Thanks for telling me everything's working technically correct. Good to have you here. And this live stream will be available for a limited time after this live has ended. It might not be available forever, but this topic about willpower is something that's going to be posted on our website also as an insight on our blog. It's based on an article that I wrote about 5 ways to hack your willpower for success in overcoming any challenge. And in that insight blog, you'll find a lot more good information as well. Stuff like signs to tell if you're a porn addict, or how to tell a partner that you struggle with porn or that you have porn-induced ED. Stuff that all of us are going to need at one point in time, unless we're able to quit and heal before we get into a relationship. But for most of us, some rewire is required as well. And you'll know what I'm talking about if you've been taking the courses on Remojo. If you're not in the app yet, definitely download the app. If you are in the app, then I ask you now, please go to the App Store, leave a 5-star review. Whatever app store you downloaded it from, whether iOS or Android, leave a 5-star review. The more high ratings like that and the more glowing reviews we get, it's not for us and it's not for you. It's for all those people out there who don't yet have the resources to quit porn and live a better life. And we want to help them find Remojo because we know that we've got the best platform out there and the best content out there to empower people along this journey. So please go to the App Store, do that now or after the stream. And if you don't have the app yet, get into it. It's much more than just a blocker, as so many others are. It does have a blocker. It does have the ability to set up an accountability partnership, block apps, block websites. But so much more than that, it's a community where we can connect with each other, and it is a course platform where we try to put all the wisdom and all the guidance and all the tools that you're going to need on this journey, not only to quit porn, but to build a better life, get your discipline back, build amazing relationships, have amazing sex, and live the kind of life that you've probably been dreaming about for a long time. So get on the app if you haven't, and if you haven't gotten into the mindset tab where all the courses are, do yourself a favor and do that sooner rather than later. All right, we're going to get into today's topic. As I go and you're thinking about what's helped you in terms of willpower as you've gone along this journey or in other journeys that you've had in your life, maybe you quit smoking, maybe you got a gym discipline and got fit. You've accomplished things in your life. What helped you do it? I want to hear what your best willpower tips are in the chat, and I'll go over those if there are good ones that I haven't covered yet after I go through these 5 willpower hacks. The willpower, like I said, it's kind of a mysterious substance that a lot of us think if we just had enough of it, then we'd be living the lives that we want. But we don't know how to get more of it, and we don't know how to use what we already have more effectively. So the first hack or tip is us debunking together the ego depletion myth. What is ego depletion? Ego depletion is the idea that we have a limited supply of willpower, that it's like a resource that once we use it up. And if we run out, we have to recharge it or refill it by resting, sleeping, eating, and so on. And this means that if this is true and we're using our willpower throughout the day, maybe you had a tough day at work and you had to use your willpower a lot to overcome challenges or to hold your anger in when your coworkers are pissing you off. But then you get home and your girlfriend or your partner says something that, like, why didn't you wash the dishes before you left for work this morning? And where you usually be like, okay, yeah, that's my bad, and be able to hold in your anger. Instead, you snap at her because you just, you ran out of willpower and now you're just acting on impulse. Or, you got home from a long day at work and you don't have a partner, but you have an internet connection and you get the urge to pull up a porn site. And because you feel like you've had a really hard day and you're all out of energy and willpower, you give in, you don't even fight it. The thing about ego depletion is that it has been demonstrated in studies where, for example, study participants are put into a room with 2 plates, one a plate of cookies and one a plate of radishes. And they're told they have to eat some radishes, but they can't eat any of the cookies. So they have to use their willpower to eat some radishes without eating any of those delicious fresh baked cookies right next to them. And then they have those participants work on a puzzle. And the puzzle, unbeknownst to the participants, is actually impossible to solve. But the real test is how long they're going to work on it before they give up. And in those studies that show ego depletion, those who are forced to eat the radishes and not the cookies, they give up way sooner than the participants who are allowed to eat the cookies and don't have to use their willpower. So this proves it, right? Ego depletion is real. Well, the thing is that a publication bias was discovered, and studies that tried to replicate this result and failed to do so didn't end up being published because it wasn't interesting. But the fact that we discovered later on is that ego depletion is true if you believe that it's true. The power of your belief, if you believe that you've used up your willpower, of course you're not going to be able to use it again. But people who don't believe that willpower is a limited resource, who believe that they always have the ability to make the right choice for themselves, ego depletion doesn't apply to them. And it's simply down to the power of belief. So that's my first tip and hack for you, is to dismiss this idea that you only have so much strength inside you and so much willpower. And that if you're tired or you're buzzed or whatever, you've had to resist a lot of urges recently, that you're slowly getting worn down and relapse is inevitable, because that's just not true. If you believe instead that you have unlimited reserves of willpower and you always have control over your actions in your life, then you will. Number 2, this tip, this hack, it allows you to bank on your laziness, to use your laziness to your own benefit. And this is simply to make it as difficult as possible to veer off the path you've chosen for yourself, and as easy as possible to stick to the commitments you've made. If you're trying to eat better, what does this look like? It looks like getting rid of all the junky snacks that you keep around the home, making it difficult to eat poorly, making it easy to eat well by figuring out some healthier snacks that you love to eat, and making sure you always have plenty of those foods around, whether it's celery and peanut butter, carrots and hummus, cashews, whatever kind of healthy snacks that you like. Make it easy to get those healthy options. And then, once you eat that snack, you're satisfied and you're not thinking about the Oreos anymore. What does this look like for someone who's trying to quit porn? Well, use the Remojo tools, the Remojo blocker, the Remojo accountability partner feature, to make it as difficult as possible for you to get to porn or other sexual content online. And of course, you're always going to be able to get your hands on some sexual content if you really, really want to, and you're really doing your best to make it happen. You could, steal your mom's cell phone and use that to look up something if you really wanted to. But if you make it as difficult as possible, then you can just rely on your laziness. It's like, that sounds like a lot of work to get around the blocker or to try to figure out how to deactivate this, or, I'd have to talk with my accountability partner later because they'd get the report. That's just too much work. And use your own laziness to your own benefit. Of course, this takes a little bit more work up front, right? You have to set up these things. You have to design your life in a way that's helpful for your goals. What does making it easy look like to take the right actions? Well, you figure out what prompts you to want to look up porn in the first place. What makes you feel triggered and makes you start to fantasize and visualize acting out and going to your favorite porn site again. Figure that out first. Is it when you're stressed? Is it when you're feeling lonely? Is it first thing in the morning when you wake up and you're kind of half asleep, or late at night when you get home and maybe you've had a couple drinks with friends? Figure out those situations that are dangerous for you, and then figure out what you actually need or what would really be satisfying in that moment. If it's stress, then what's really going to help you relax? Because it's not porn and masturbation, especially if you're trying to quit. That's only going to add more stress to your life. Once you're done, that moment of clarity after you bust, you're going to feel much more stressed because not only have you wasted time, you've also gone back on a promise you made to yourself or a challenge that you're undertaking. Now you feel bad, you feel guilty, and you're more stressed out than you were before. So figure out what is actually going to help you relax. For me, it might be taking a guitar off the wall, playing music for a while. It might be hanging out with my son here. This is Takeshi. He's rooting for you all. He wanted to be a part of the live stream. Figure out what's actually relaxing for you. Picking up some juggling balls and juggling, going out, hanging out with friends. If it's loneliness, figure out how you can actually feel connected to people. It doesn't need to be romantic. It can, you might not feel like that's an option for you right now to date, or that you don't have a partner. But you can give a call to someone you haven't talked to in a while, a family member, a friend. You can go to a coffee shop and just take a book and read and be around people. Maybe chat with people who are sitting around you. If you figure out what your real needs are and what's actually triggering you to want to use porn, then you can figure out what to do about it. Third tip is to flip the endowment effect. So this is another psychological term like ego depletion. The endowment effect is a real psychological phenomenon where we overvalue things that we feel already belong to us, and we don't value enough the things that don't belong to us, or that we feel like we don't have ownership of yet. So in a study paradigm, one study gave participants either a coffee mug, an empty coffee mug that said, "This is yours now," or a bar of nice chocolate. And then they were given the option to either keep what they got or trade what they got for the other item. And what they found was that most people, they want to keep what they got, even though objectively they have about the same value. And some people might like chocolate more, some people might like having a new mug more, but they found universally that most people kept what they were given in the first place, because already within 30 seconds, within 10 seconds, within a moment, they felt ownership of that object, and they felt, oh, this is mine now. I don't want to lose this. Even though if you had presented them with both objects and said, which one do you want? They might have chosen the other object than the one that they were given. What does this have to do with quitting porn? Well, when you feel like you're giving up porn, then you feel like you're losing something that is of value and that you possess. Whatever you value in porn, like easy access to pleasure or sexual variety. And when you feel like you have to give this up, your deep mammalian mind doesn't want to lose something that you feel like you have. But in reality, what's been happening is that you've, for years, been giving up what's rightfully yours, whether that's your sexual vitality, your ability to enjoy real relationships, your focus, your ambition. You've been giving all that up for some illusions of other people having sex on a screen, for some quick dopamine hits from a device. And if you think of it that way, you get that hunger to reclaim what's really yours, what really belongs to you, which is your sexual vitality in your own mind. Here are some illusions that people have about porn. I'm going to break these down right now to help you flip this endowment effect. So number one, using porn, it feels good, it's pleasurable. That's what a lot of people think and what a lot of people say. But the reality, is it really pleasurable? Is it really satisfying? Or is it actually more stimulating? It's very stimulating. I'm not going to argue with that. It taps into your deep brain that desires to pass down your genes. One of our most important biological desires, to have sex, to create new life, to continue the human race. But really, using porn, it's an empty experience, because even though you're stimulating that part of yourself that gets aroused by sex and attractive mates, rationally it's not real. It's just an illusion, and it's empty, and it's not satisfying. It's like watching videos of other people eating when you're really hungry. You might be stimulating. You might have a hard time taking your eyes away from the screen if you haven't eaten in 3 days. And then there's all this food on the screen. Maybe even some smells are being pumped into the room. You're very stimulated. You want what you're seeing. But it's also frustrating because you can't actually eat it. It's just illusions on a screen. And it's the same with this. It's frustrating, actually, to be so excited and so aroused by what you're seeing, but not actually having that object of desire, that real human connection, be an option for you. Illusion number two, I don't want to give up all this sexual novelty and this sexual variety, this infinite variety of people and sexual scenarios and genres that I have access to because of porn. And the truth of the matter is, there is no variety. There isn't. What's happening is that you're alone with your phone or your laptop or your computer, touching yourself while flashing some lights into your eyes and piping some sounds into your ears. And no matter what the nature of those lights are, the experience is truly the same time and time again. And it's rather boring when you think about it. Just being alone in a room with a device, flashing some lights into your eyes, looking at pixels and touching yourself. There's no variety there. There's no true valuable experience to cherish. Illusion number three, using porn, it helps me relax. After a long day, it helps me relax and get the stress out. And the truth of the matter is, like I mentioned before, it's not truly relaxing. It only feels relaxing because you're stressed out because you're hooked on porn and you're craving porn. And using porn gets rid of that craving temporarily. So it feels like, that's a relief. I'm relaxed now. But the truth is that porn, if you're hooked on it, if it's become compulsive, and especially if you're trying to quit but having a tough time, that's causing a lot of the stress in your life. And if it's causing porn-induced sexual dysfunction or problems with your girlfriend or your wife, then that's causing a lot of stress too. If you're using it to procrastinate, instead of writing that paper for school or doing that project for work, you'd rationalize, I deserve a break. I should use porn for a while. And then, 15 minutes turns into 2 hours. That's causing you more stress because now you have less time to get the things done that you need to get done. Next illusion. I have a connection, with maybe a camera that I, pay to watch, or an OnlyFans creator that I subscribe to, and I don't want to lose that connection, And the simple truth of that is you can stop paying and you'll figure out how much of a connection you really have with those people. And last one, well, orgasms are good for me. Masturbation is good for me, and porn helps me do that. And of course, the reality is you don't need porn to have an orgasm. If you really want to have regular orgasms, of course, sex would be a great way to do that, but porn-free masturbation is also an option. People have been doing that for many thousands of years. Didn't need porn, internet porn especially, to help them get there. And if you do need internet porn to help you do that, to help you have an orgasm, then that's a big red flag that you definitely need to break this illusion and reclaim what's rightfully yours, which is your sexual vitality and your sensitivity. So now that we've destroyed some of those illusions, try to flip that endowment effect in your mind and think about all those things that you think you have to give up porn to get, and instead think that you've been giving up all those things for years in order to get this paltry reward of some lights on a screen. And then get that fire back to reclaim those things that are rightfully yours. Before we get into the last tip, I'm going to ask you again, anyone who's here in this stream, if you are on the Remojo app, or if you're not, go get the Remojo app. If you're on the Remojo app, please go to your app store, leave a 5-star review. It helps more people find Remojo and get the help that they need to overcome whatever porn-related problems they have in their lives. All right, number 5. Fifth willpower hack for today is absolute certainty. What does this mean? You might rationally have a certainty that porn has been harming you, it doesn't belong in your life, it doesn't give you anything of value, but maybe you're not emotionally all there yet. Maybe there's a part of you that's still hooked and still is not certain, still thinks, maybe someday, or maybe at a lighter level, maybe I could use a little bit, or maybe after I get my erections back and start having real sex, I could use porn again once in a while. And as long as you have that doubt, if you're 90% there to wanting to live porn free, if you're 95% there, even if you're 99% there, all of that is the land of suffering. Trust me, I've been there myself. 100% certainty is where it gets easy. Because if you're 100% certain, you don't have to fight urges all the time. You don't have to argue with yourself. It's like the certainty that you have, I hope most of you have a certainty that you're not going to be using methamphetamine, right? Even though it might feel great if you used it in the moment temporarily, you have a certainty that you don't want to be that type of person. You don't want to invite that danger into your life. It's dangerous and harmful. And you have a certainty, probably most of you, that that's not something you want to do. And so you don't have to fight urges to use meth. You've never used it. You don't have an easy access to it. It's not a habit that you've built. You have a certainty. You don't have to resist urges to use meth. And some of you may have already done this in other parts of your life. Maybe you used to smoke cigarettes, but you quit. And now you have an absolute certainty that that's just not for you anymore. And you don't have to fight urges to use cigarettes anymore. Or some other willpower challenge that you faced in the past. Maybe you were hooked on World of Warcraft or something. You were playing it 16 hours a day, and you realized, okay, I can't do this anymore. And now you have an absolute certainty that massively multiplayer online games are no longer for you, and you don't have to fight urges anymore. The same thing is possible with porn. And I can't reach into your brain and flip the switch and give you absolute 100% certainty, but a lot of our content, in courses like Building an Amazing Porn-Free Life and Foundations, it's nudging you in that direction, getting you to 100% certainty, where this journey gets easy. And if you can get there, when you get there, you'll find that you can go days, weeks, even months without really giving porn much thought. An image might pop into your mind or a memory or a thought that, I'm home alone now, I could do that, but you can easily dismiss it because you have 100% certainty. It's similar to if you have an exercise partner. Let's say in the past, you've always tried to go to the gym or make a regular habit out of it, but you've done it alone. But now you committed to a group of friends that you're all going to go 3 times a week at the same time. And because of that social pressure, you're absolutely certain that this is just something that I do. And so you don't have to wake up in the morning and then fight with yourself. Oh, am I going to go? Am I going to not? You're not going to let down your friends. So you have that absolute certainty and you just do it. And it's actually a lot easier. It takes a lot less energy and a lot less time when you can just decide, yeah, I'm going. Or, yeah, I could use porn right now, but I'm not going to. And then you move on with your life. And that's a beautiful state to be in. And sometimes absolute certainty, it doesn't last forever. There might be a moment where maybe you lose your job or your girlfriend breaks up with you or something triggers you and you think like, man, it'd be really good right now. see what's new, on my favorite porn website. And you go back to that place of being 99% certain or 90% certain or even 50% certain. And then you have to fight yourself again. You have to fight that battle. But if you know how to handle those moments when they come, you have your Remojo blocker on, you can use the Remojo phone lock, the flame icon. You have accountability partners. You have support. Then you can... Oh, I missed one, didn't I? I'll go back to that. Then you can get through that without acting on that urge and get back to 100% absolute certainty. And I skipped number 4. We'll go back to that now. Number 4 is to have a mastermind group. And I already kind of mentioned this, is to have yourself surrounded with people who reinforce your values and your goals. If you're surrounded with people, your friends who are all use porn all the time, and they joke about it and they're, sending each other porn clips, then that's going to make things a lot more difficult. But if you're surrounded with people who have a similar value to you and who are trying not to use porn and who all agree with what's convinced you to take this challenge upon yourself, then it's going to be a lot easier. And maybe take a while to find that in your real life, but you can start by connecting with others on the Remojo community. You can post your story. You can get to know people there. You can recruit accountability partners so you can talk with each other off the app and make sure that you're keeping each other on track. You surround yourself as much as possible with people who are going to push you forward rather than try to pull you back. A lot of, we know that most guys, especially young guys, use porn, at least a couple times a month. Most, a lot more than that. And when you're hooked on something that gives you pleasure, but that you probably know in the back of your mind is not the best for you or it's not very good for you, seeing people in your peer group actually take a stand and say, no, I'm not going to use it anymore, that can be scary because if he succeeds and he gets out of this porn trap and he actually sees a lot of benefits, then I'll have to face my own problem and I'll have to figure out if I need to quit porn too. And it'd be so much easier if he just gave up and went back to using porn. So we do have that instinct to pull people back when they're pushing themselves into their next level of growth. And we don't want to be pressured to do the same. So be aware of that in your peer group and don't let that happen. Doesn't mean you have to cut off your friendships with people who might do that, but maybe spend a little less time with them and a little more time talking with people and hanging out with people who are going to help push you forward rather than hold you back. So I got a question here that I want to answer in the chat. What's a natural way to solve ED? I didn't have morning wood in a long time. Well, that is exactly what Remojo is here for. One of the things that we're here for. Of course, I don't know much about you from your post. It could be that, I don't know, maybe you're 80 years old and you have clogged arteries and you have, physical erectile dysfunction due to that. But more likely, the most likely cause of erectile dysfunction in any healthy, relatively young man these days, it's porn. It's you're using too much porn. You've desensitized yourself You've conditioned yourself to get aroused by a screen instead of a real person. And when you get the opportunity to be in a bed with someone you're attracted to, your body just doesn't respond the way it should. And the natural way to solve that is to quit using porn, quit masturbating, at least for a while, let your sensitivity come back, and practice real intimacy, real sexual contact again. And we teach you how to do that in the Remojo app. So if you're not on there yet, get into the Remojo app, get into the courses, give you everything you need to know. And also, we have a new course that dropped just this weekend called Maximize that will take you beyond just quitting porn and everything we cover in the Overcoming Sexual Dysfunction course. And for those of you who want it, we'll teach you how to maximize your sexual vitality and potency and your masculine sexual health. Raise your testosterone, use supplementation in the right way, use alternative remedies to maximize your testosterone, how to eat, and how to work out to maximize your sexual potency. So if you're interested in that, check out our new course, Maximize, on the app. All right, this has been the first Remojo live stream. We're going to do more of these in the future. And it's not just going to be me hosting, it's going to be other members of the team with different personalities, different perspectives, and different strengths, different topics that they can talk about. So make sure you're subscribed to the Remojo channel so you get alerted to that. Make sure in the app you have your notifications turned on so you can see our alerts and get into the next one. And if you haven't, like I said before, please go to the App Store. Leave a 5-star review. It helps other guys, other men who need this information find the help that's actually going to empower them to get their sexual vitality back, reclaim their minds, reclaim their focus, reclaim their relationships, all the things that they've been giving up for years in a poor trade for immediate access to stimulation on a screen. Thanks for being here with us, guys. This will be the end of the first Remojo Live. Have a wonderful porn-free weekend and get into the app, get into the courses, move forward. Don't let anyone or anything stop you from taking the next step and leveling up. Peace. Takeshi says goodbye.